happy to be back today. You're watching the Sisters Empowerment Show, and this is a show that is here to inspire you, to empower you with different views and ideas, and to equip you with tips on how to get around with life. So today we are here again. I'm Daisy, your host, and I have a special guest with me who is going to speak to you about a very important aspect in life and in the business area that we are telling you about. So I want you to be very attentive, to listen in carefully, and to write down some few tips that our guest is going to be telling us. And the area she's going to be speaking about is to do with finances. But before I introduce to you our guest, don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment. And I want to inform you, dear viewers, that this show is proudly sponsored by St. Daniela Education Services. This is a nursery and boarding primary school that is located in Namayumba, and the telephone numbers are 0392 003180. We are also proudly sponsored by the Jens Bakery and Save and Have Enterprises that is situated at Ham Shopping Center on second floor, level 2, and it is shop number F219. The telephone contact is 0754 1390 99. And behind our cameras, our dear viewers, is Urban Events. And if you need such beautiful video coverage, please don't hesitate to contact Urban Events. Their telephone contact is 0759 52 0160. So our dear viewers, join us today to welcome Stella. Stella, you're very welcome to the Sisters Empowerment Show.
Thank you, Daisy.
Our viewers out there are very anxious to hear from you because we've been promising them to bring someone to tell them about an important aspect of life, and that is financial management. So you're welcome once again. You're looking smart.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please tell our viewers your name.
Stella Nawasitu is my name.
Tell our viewers about your education background.
I'm currently pursuing a master's in business administration, finance and accounting option. I completed my certified public accounting certificate. I'm a certified professional banker. And I did my bachelor's of business administration accounting option from UPS, UCE and USCE from Sector High School.
Wow, Stella. I've heard from some of the things you've been talking about your academic experience are to do with banking, finances. You know me, I'm very poor at finances. And I think this is going to be a very good and interesting topic to the viewers out there who we've been encouraging to do small businesses. And besides telling them on what to do and how to do them, I think it is a very good timing for us to tell them about financial management. So Stella, before we go on to the core of the show, where exactly do you work? Of course our viewers would be wondering, why is she telling us? What does she know?
Yeah, currently I'm working with Untitled Chapter. It's located in Chuatule, Clovis Road. I'm currently the project accountant with Democratic Governance Facility. Those who hear about DGF governance, that is where I'm currently working.
Wow. So you're talking about accounting, projects and what? And I think this is the crucial time for us now to go into the gist of this topic and this show. Our dear viewers, don't forget that you're watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Stella,
Yes.
you've been talking about finances. Can you briefly tell our viewers about what is it about financial management in business?
Financial management in business is basically about 4 building blocks. So budgeting, then you have to look at record keeping, internal controls, and then finally you'll have to do financial reporting. But for small businesses, we shall look at record keeping and budgeting. for now.
Wow, that is great, and I think those two areas are very crucial for the kind of businesses we've been telling people about. Because before you came to this show, I must tell you that we've been telling people about farming, about baking, about tailoring. But those two aspects have been missing, I think, in what we've been telling them. So please tell our viewers out there about budgeting for small businesses.
Okay, before you start any small business out there that you would wish to start, you must have a budget. Budget, we are going to look at what you actually have and what you think you would wish to spend in that particular business. So for starters, you're going to have starting capital. So if you have your starting capital, you'll have to look at how you're going to spend that money, and will that money be enough for you to accomplish or start your small business.
So do you always need a lot of money, or just give our viewers so that they get the gist of exactly what do they want? For a small business, you need a lot of money, then for a big business, so that they can get a gist.
For small businesses, I would advise someone to first carry out a pilot research project in relation to what they want to start. For example, if you want to start up like a grocery shop, you can first do your routine search and find out from people who have already started how much they incurred, how much rent they required, how much money they've put in. Then look at your own pocket. How much money do you have, and how much would you think you would put or invest in that particular business? You don't always need a lot of money to start, but whatever monies you have, you can start any business.
Wow, Stella, I think I need to know more about this thing of budgeting and starting small businesses. I know some of our viewers out there are people in formal employment. And when you talk of small businesses, they're like, you will spend a lot of time for you to develop that small business. So I want you to encourage even people who are out there, in as much as we are telling them about small businesses, that they can grow from a small business into a big businesses using their budgets.
What a person has to put into mind when they are starting their business, they should look at how much money they have at hand. If you have like 500,000 and you would want to start a grocery shop, look at key factors. For example, look at maybe the rent you're going to incur in that small business, how much you're going to need to purchase whatever little equipment you need to invest in that business. So basically, you have to first have a list of items. These could be expenses on your side. From then, you can calculate and see, would this really be enough for you to start? And when you've started, start looking at how much you're spending out and the sales you're bringing in the budgeting process. So basically, look at probably the assets you have to put in to invest in, then what you would think you would want to bring out for you to obtain profit at the end of the day.
Okay, and also one thing that disturbs many people out there, including myself, is distinguishing between profits and what you put in. So can you please throw more light about this? Because I might start up this small business and start getting my clients, and then this money that I get, I fail to distinguish it whether I'm making profits or I'm not making any profits.
Oh, the money you put in a business for starters is your startup capital. So if you have like 500,000, that is going to be your startup capital. So this 500,000, you're going to invest it in maybe purchases of groceries. So when you purchase the groceries, after you making sales out of the 500,000, probably you've sold off 100,000. The difference between what you invested in and the difference between your sales and what you spent out would become your profit. So your sales minus the costs. Costs are those expenses you've incurred.
Like rent.
Like rent. You
like paying employees,
labor, if you have any.
Transport.
So, yes. So the difference between what you sold and what you costed, costing is those expenses will bring us the profits.
And now, do these principles also apply to these low income earning businesses? Like someone has their small kiosk, they are selling maybe pineapples or Irish potatoes, and maybe their capital is about 50,000. Do those principles you're talking about also apply to these kinds of businesses?
Yes, the principles do apply. As long as you've decided to start business, because for all businesses, the end result is obtaining profits. Because there is no one who would want to start up a business and they don't get profits. Otherwise, people wouldn't have started up businesses. So you have to look at how much you're willing to invest into that business, and how much the difference between how much you're willing to invest in and how much you've sold will give you the profit. But for starters, you might not really look at the profit bit, because at times it takes some time for you to stabilize. For example, if you to start up a grocery shop, you might need to either establish your own kiosk or rent out that kiosk. But if you're not going to, you'll have to incur expenses therein. Which expenses? Probably if you have like 1 million, then maybe your rent for like 4 months could take you like 400,000. That is already a cost on your side. It's an expense. So you have to look, the profit returns or the returns that you're getting may not really come out immediately. But as long as you start business, profit is the end result that you would wish.
You're still watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And our sponsors, as already mentioned, are Centennial Education Services, Lien's Bakery. We also have Save and Have Enterprises at Ham Shopping Center and Urban Events. So please don't forget to contact those sponsors of ours, because they are making this show happen. So Stella, before we move on to the next aspect of record keeping, I want you also to throw some more light out there to people who are in the informal sector about budgeting, especially these very small businesses. For example, someone is selling fish. Do you expect such a person to also make a budget? Or is it important for them as well to make a budget, as you've been telling us?
Yes, it's very important for everyone who is willing and wishing to start business to budget. Reason, there is no way you're going to start up something without you budgeting. The budgeting starts from within you. For example, you're here, you're earning some money from that. Maybe you're working for someone and you're given a labor of maybe 200,000, 250.
As salary?
As salary. For the informal sector, yes, as salary, because that 250 is not taxed. If you save 100,000 and you're wishing to set up something small, you have to budget for the saving you've had made, you will have made. So if you have 100,000 and you have a variety of projects that you're looking out to, you might just start with something small like selling maybe tomatoes, but still you have to budget, because you have to check the material that you're going to need. If it's setting up a grocery store, it will require you to build those shelves where you're going to place the makeshift or the kiosks. So that money, if you've been saving, it will have to require you to budget at the end of it all, because before you even start, you must have a budget.
So our viewer out there might be wondering, do we need to get accountants and people who are experienced in budgeting for us to be in position to do our budgets for these small businesses we are talking about?
No, you might not really need someone who's a professional to do all your accounting bits, because literally, at least we know the additions and subtractions that we've at least learned. And for starters, as long as you can add and subtract, it's budgeting enough for you. Because if you have your 100,000 and you would want to start selling tomatoes, you already have a grocery shelf somewhere. You just have to go to the market, know how much you'll need for maybe a week or 2 days. How often will you need to go to the market and purchase these tomatoes? So when you bring them to your store, you'll check the sales you're making. So if you're making sales of like 20,000 a day, you compute and see in a week how much are you selling. So if you're selling like in a week, let me say 100,000, and you started with your 200,000, it means you still have 100,000 left. So you don't really need to hire a professional accountant. You yourself can do it, because just like the way we budget home items, accessories like food, it's the same way you can apply it in business. It's the normal way to apply your little saving and computation.
So Stella, I have two issues before we leave. One is to do with accountability, and two is to do with people who do not know, for example, how to write or count. I'll not say like they're not good, maybe they're not people in the formal sector. For example, they own offices, they know how to write very well. How should such people handle their budgeting?
That will come in when it comes to record keeping.
Okay.
Yes.
So-
So I believe everyone, whether you've studied or not, you can add and subtract. Even if you don't have the particular accounting background, because we are becoming lay people here, so that you can have everyone captured in. So it's as long as you know that I've brought in 100,000, then I need to spend this much. Yeah, that is basically the budgeting bit. How much you're adding in, how much you're subtracting for you to get the profit out.
Oh, thank you, Stella. So, I talked about accountability.
Yes.
We've been hearing accountability for government employees, for schools, for every business. Does that fall under budgeting as well?
Yes, it all rotates around budgeting, because without a budget you can't account for what you plan to spend. So it all goes in that entire cycle of financial management, where we shall have the record keeping bit for us to show that we've really accounted for.
Wow, thank you very much, Stella, for this insight you're giving us. Our dear viewers, you're watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And our guest today is Stella. And Stella is very experienced in financial management. She has done a lot of courses in banking and financial management. So with us here, you're talking to an experienced and professional financial manager who is trying to simplify things, telling you that in this Sisters Empowerment Show, we are not going to bring complex issues. We are trying to break down very complex issues for you into a simpler manner. And that's why you see that Stella, our host, is not actually taking us through the accounting languages and themes and very difficult standards that we shall not remember or manage. So Stella, as we go on to tell our viewers about how well to manage their finances, I want us to talk about the record keeping bit. Yeah, what is record keeping now when you're talking about businesses and financial management?
Record keeping is basically that act or process of you keeping them in order. By that I mean, if you're making any sales, you have to write down which sales you've made. If you're going to make any expenditures, write down that which you're going to spend on. So basically, record keeping is that process of you keeping the right records.
Now there are these people who have small businesses, like the people who have retail shops. I'm going to use that example because I see them. They never issue receipts and you never see them writing. So how do they, I know this might be a very hard question for you, but how do you see them like progressing with their business where record keep? Is it a good practice? Because like when we go to the shops to buy sugar, you'll never see the shopkeeper maybe taking down records.
Now, different small businesses have a way of operating their records. Though what I would recommend for any small business, even if big, write down. Writing down is the best way you can keep your records. What I think these small businesses do that do not write down, most of them estimate. For example, if they buy a kilo of sugar, or if they buy a sack of sugar,
65,000.
yeah, 65,000
At wholesale price.
at wholesale price. So if they buy a sack of sugar at 65,000, I believe they would keep estimating. If I can get maybe like a profit of 20,000, they just keep estimating
From that sack.
from the sack. If it if the SAC gets done, that's when they usually just estimate to check whether they made a profit or not. But the best practice for any small business, for anyone who wants to start a small business, for you to have the right records, I think you would write down. It's the best practice you can ever have. However much you have a small retail shop, you should write down. Record keeping is a very key, important aspect in accounting or for any business, for you to know how much you really earned and how much you're willing to spend. Because from then, you can really know that the budget you drafted, what you actually budgeted previously, is what it is.
So, Stella, I think this is a very difficult area in businesses because when you talk about writing, for example, expenditures, I might be having my business of selling tomatoes. And when I make my money, for example, I make 5,000 in a day, I might use it for transport. Do I need to write that as part of record keeping?
Yes, like I said, and I'll still insist, as long as you've started business, have your written down documents. Buy a small book. A small exercise book is around 800 shillings, yes. So just buy that small book. You can divide into different columns. For example, like I personally have a small
Wow.
I have a small business.
Tell
I
us,
operate
before you go on to tell us how they write, can you take us through what this business is for our viewers actually to believe what we tell them?
I operate a small grocery shop that you will see someday. What I did, like from start, I budgeted and I looked at the amount that I had to spend to set up that grocery shop. And for this lady that helps me, we decided we have to write all items that we sell out and we purchase.
Was it easy for her to accept your principles
No,
of writing on whatever you sell and expend?
No, actually, it's very hard to convince someone to do that. But I told her, you know what? If you're willing to help in this business, we have to write. And we came to an understanding. She really accepted. Because I told her what you're just going to do. You're just going to have to bring in, I'm going to draft for you columns in that exercise book. You write that, I'll write the date, the items that you're selling off, and what you'll have sold off. So what we do on a daily, she rates. If someone has come in with just 100 shillings, they record the 100 shilling for tomato as what they've sold. So at the end of the day, when I come back from work, I have to balance those books on a daily basis. I don't sleep before balancing those books.
Wow. I think this is something our viewers that you must take on because we are speaking with experience and giving our personal experiences, and I'm surprised to learn, Stella, that you have this small business and that you have to record even 100 shillings.
I'll even show you evidence if you need.
Yes, we need it actually. We are going to show our viewers these records that you're taking down for them to really believe what you are saying. Now, besides knowing what you've spent and what you're putting in, what are the other advantages of record keeping?
The advantages of record keeping help you know how much, for your clients, for them to know how much they demand for the particular items that you sell off. So it helps you know which items should you buy most. Because if clients demand for maybe more of tomatoes than maybe Irish potatoes, it's best for you to purchase more of tomatoes than Irish potatoes. So your budget, if you had budgeted more of Irish, you divert it to what the demand is. So it gives you a guide. So record keeping gives you a guide on what you should put emphasis on in terms of purchases. Because it helps you even know your strength of that particular PSA. So there you know what you're supposed to put your emphasis on. Then the other thing about record keeping, it will help you know how much you've invested and how much you have made as profits out of what you've done. Like for example, I started in June 2020.
Yes.
After the COVID effects, I made up my mind to start up something small for myself because our sector. Of course, these are projects anytime it ends. So
and
as
moreover, formal employment,
and moreover formal employment,
where you
yes.
spend all your time and life.
Your time, your salary,
And
you're
your
used to
life.
this salary of every month, but you need to have something as you say business. So I was forced to put myself together and think outside the box. So I thought about that kiosk, and yeah, at least you know where you're putting your money and you know how much you need to put, and it will give you a drive. Yes, so it helps you know how much you need to invest, how much profits you've earned, and how much you're willing to spend. Because at the end of the day, this record keeping also helps you know you're supporting someone else's family. Because I'm supporting someone's family because I'm employing someone. So starting up these businesses, yes, we should all think outside and do something.
Wow, Stella, I'm so excited to learn that you started up something very small and you're sharing with our viewers who are watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. And I'm actually happy to learn that you're earning something every day, despite the fact that you are working in that office that has AC. And there are my friends out there who are like, no, those small businesses are for people who didn't go to school. So I think, our dear viewers, you must be learning something from this show, that even if you are in formal employment or you are employed by someone, you can start up small. Like Stella has told us, she started up a grocery shop that you're all going to see. And she's also going to show us her records of what she's doing, because this is a business that is about 3 to 4 months old, yeah?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any success stories about this business?
Yeah, the success stories are that at least someone didn't have a job,
Yes.
and you know, the COVID effect was really too big for most families. But here she's now employed, and she's able to, because she has 2 candidates, primary 7 kids, and yeah, they are going to go back to school because their mom is working. Yes.
And on your side,
On my side,
after being affected by COVID and you thought so hard about what to start up, do you have anything positive on your side that you can share with our viewers?
on my side, the positive effects are that really it's good to start something of your own, because at least you know you have something that at the end of the day you come back home, you have to balance. There is some money coming into your pocket,
You
unlike
get some money on a daily.
on a daily basis, unlike waiting for salary that comes at the end of the month. At least you know now you have responsibility. So I have responsibility.
So do you have any profits that you've made since you started? Or you're not making any profits?
They are there, but of course they are minimum. But yes, they are there.
Wow, our dear viewers, the reason we are bringing such people like Stella to speak to you is for them to share their experiences, and these are practical experiences. We are not talking about theoretical experiences. We are not picking people who are going to tell you fictitious stories. Stella has told us about her business, and I know, is it the only business that you're doing besides your former employment?
Not really. I'm also into farming.
Tell us about the farming, Stella.
Farming. You just need to come to the farm.
We shall be coming there, but I mean, you can throw some light to our viewers out there who might have land, they have jobs, they are employed by people, but they cannot put this land to use.
Yeah, farming really requires you to invest some good time in it. If you really can't have that time, kindly employ someone to help you with the farming. Currently, my emphasis are on plantation of banana trees and vegetables. But you have to invest in the materials they need, the farmer needs,
And the labor,
and the labor.
since you're not always there.
Yes.
Now, do you also practice what you've been telling us in your farm, the budgeting and the record keeping?
Yes, I do practice the record keeping and the budgeting on a monthly basis, because there is someone who helps me with the budgeting bit.
Where is your farm?
The farm is on Hoima Road. The place is called the Magela. That's the village where it is. Yes. So we do record keeping, because you have to purchase some of the seedlings, and then you have to the pesticides, then you have to pay out labor. So you need to budget Like if you get your salary, you have to know a portion of it is going to the farm to add into the produce, and the other you put aside. So budgeting is basically from you as you. If you get your, I don't know how much
idea.
money, and
If you have the idea, as soon as you get this idea in your head, the next thing should be
budgeting.
yeah. And then when you get your hands started onto the project or business, the next thing should be record keeping. That's what I see.
Yes.
Actually, someone told me about you, and I know that I didn't want to disclose this to the viewers, but our esteemed viewers, Stella is my sister. And I told you this is the Sisters Empowerment Show. As sisters, we are here to empower you. I know that for a long time I've been seeing you taking down records for every small purchase that you make, for every small thing that you acquire, you will always be writing. You're one person who would come to my shop and you'd tell me that this is my budget for the day and you don't want to exceed this, maybe the expenditure for your day. So I've also learned something from your ways, and I think this is a very good idea that you must tell people out there who are watching the Sisters Empowerment Show to practice. Yeah. So Stella, as we come to the conclusion of this show, I know there are people out there who are thinking of what next step to take in life after maybe they've lost their job, or they have no hope on where to start, or they are doing businesses but are not practicing what you said. What advice do you give them?
COVID-19 has really brought a very negative impact on employment, more so to us in the formal sector. Yes, even those in the informal sector, because people have really lost jobs. But I would advise anyone to start anything, as long as, even if it's small, start, have your idea. That idea you have in the mind, you can write it down, because I believe in writing. I love writing. So that idea you have in your mind, write it down, then you can cost it. Even if you don't have money, you can have people who can give you that little startup capital and you start. It doesn't matter where you are, because people are leaving Kampala to come to the countryside to start their small businesses. So you should start. As long as you start, that means you have to start budgeting, because the idea comes in. As the idea comes in, put it down on paper, budget. If I need to start selling maybe matoke, bananas, how do I start? So you have to have that list of how much. You can do your survey. As you're doing your surveys, you can do that budget. When you draft that budget, when you get money, put it in practice. Start that idea that you wrote down, and do record keeping, because it will help you monitor how much you're spending, how much you're bringing in, how much profits you're earning. So as long as you do your record keeping well and you've gotten your money, you're good to go. It's better than waiting, because nowadays no one sits down to wait for someone to be given money, and people no longer need people who are seated there without doing anything. Don't let your parents look at you like, I paid for this girl's tuition but she doesn't have a job. Start something small. It doesn't matter how much money you need. Request for your parents to give you some startup capital if they have. If they don't have, try your siblings or anyone.
Stella, what about your friends in office? When I talk about your friends in office, I'm not talking about your workmates. I'm talking about our friends who are sitting in office and their mind is locked to the office world. What advice do you have to give them? Because they are not used to budgeting. They just receive salary and then spend the money. What advice do you have for them in respect to what you've just told our viewers?
I think everyone should now start looking outside the box. Let us not only think about this formal sector. I would advise whoever is in office at your desk to start thinking away from that desk. You need to think outside that desk so that you can earn a living outside where you're working. For you to, that money that you bring in on a daily is money that's good and you'll feel good about it. Because me, whenever I leave work, I look forward to reaching home because I know I'm going to count my money. How much have I brought in? And you have to really put in some effort to whatever you're going to start. Because if it's like, if you're starting now for the grocery shop on a daily, like every Friday morning, very morning before even going to work, effort. So it's effort on all sides. But all I can tell everyone is to start up something small. It doesn't matter what, but start something of your own. You'll feel the comfort, you'll feel fulfilled.
And don't be ashamed to start up anything smaller, dear viewers. Don't wait for you to lose your job, for you to become incapacitated, for you to be dismissed at your workplace, or for your project to end when you do not have starting capital, for you to start practicing what we are saying. Stella has just told you that start now. I think that is what you're trying to emphasize.
Yes.
When she tells you to think outside the box, she means start now with the little that you have. So, our dear viewers, we want to get testimonies from what we are telling you. That after watching our show, you'll come up and say that I got this idea after watching the Sisters Empowerment show, after watching Stella's advice that we should start small. The reason we are bringing these young girls, Stella is a young girl as you can see her, is for you to know that for you to start business, you don't have to be old in age, you don't have to have problems before you start any business, but you can start at any age for you to self-sustain yourself. And as we've been telling you, Stella has been telling us about her record keeping. And when we talk about record keeping, we want to show you what she was telling us. She told us about her grocery shop and that she started on the 6th of June 2020, the year of our Lord. So, our viewers, with me here, I have Stella's records that she's been taking. She has told you the person who is working for her or who is helping her is writing everything that is sold. And from this book that you see, I think you can all see, we are having columns of different items, prices, the quantities, and the totals, yeah? And the date when this was sold. So this is reflected in this exercise book, as she told you. You don't need to have or wait for Excel for you to record your things for these small businesses, even for the big businesses. So with me here, I have Stella's record. Maybe Stella can briefly explain what she was telling us about how you record your businesses.
So for these small businesses, you can just buy an exercise book of 96 pages or 200 pages. 96-page book is 800 shillings. Yes, you can afford. So what you do, you have to identify the date, the item, the quantities, and the amounts. So the date, what you do, you direct the person on what to do. So now to my lady who helps me, she has to write the date on a daily. If she has sold Irish potatoes, of how much? So she writes the amount, 6,000. If it's tomatoes, on that same date, tomato just 200 shillings. So you write the 200 shilling. At the end of the day, I come back and balance the sales she has made on, this was 26th of June 2020. So when I compute all this, I have a total of 35,100 shillings in one day, on a daily. So this is her book that she uses.
Okay, let us show our viewers, because they might think it is only one page that you're trying to show them. Our viewers, as you can see, this exercise book is full of records of sales from Stella's business, and that is the grocery shop, where they sell items from as little as 100 shillings to as far as about 80,000 shillings or 100,000 shillings. I think the bag of charcoal and bag of Irish potatoes can go for about 100,000. But every amount that is sold is written. I can see 100 shillings, 300, 100, 500. So this is what we are talking about. So after she has written, what do you do?
I have a personal book as well that I write in at the end of the month. So what I do, because for her, my lady only does the sales bit. I do the sales and the expenditures for that particular month. So I also created a book just like hers. I have my dates.
So this is the book. You might think we are talking about any other magical book.
It's just an exercise book. So I have I just write the date, I write the details, the expenses, what I'm spending out and what I'm bringing in. What I bring in are the sales. So what I do, like at the beginning of June, that's when we started our business, I bought 4 bags of charcoal at 80,000. So that to me is, yes, 80,000 each for 4 bags. So that brings me 320,000. So I spent 320,000 shillings to purchase these 4 bags of charcoal. However, when I add up what she sold in June as charcoal, because we have 2 sides of the book, she rates charcoal separate from other groceries. So I add the charcoal. The charcoal she sold between 8th and 30th of June are my sales. So they come they come as my sales on that side. So at the end of the day, even the groceries, in a month I can purchase, now this month I purchased 90, depending on what you purchased, and also Irish potato. So my combination of these and my sales made, I get to check whether I'm within budget or I'm overspent. Now for this time round, I overspent because I incurred in my own money. Like I added in my own money to, as you're starting business, of course, like for the first 3 to 4 months, you have to inject in your own money. But with the preceding months, like starting August, September, the monies that I put in are the monies that I use to do the purchases for all that I do.
Thank you very much, Stella, for this practical experience. And our dear viewers, Stella is a certified public accountant. You might be wondering why she's engaging herself in these small businesses. She's well qualified, as you heard, but she's still engaging in these small businesses. So in case you have any questions or any consultancies you need to get from Stella, she's a young lady who is willing to share her information. If you have any books that you want to audit for you, please contact her. She's going to give you her contact.
Even the knowledge.
Our viewers out there may be wanting to get your contact. Can you provide your contact? Share it with our viewers.
My mobile number is 0786 538301. Stella is my name.
So, our dear viewers, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Sisters Empowerment Show. Stella, thank you very much for offering us your valuable time to share with us. And we know that we shall be continuing to host you to tell us more and give us a deeper insight about the financial management aspect. Today we have based a lot on the informal sector, I believe. But I think as we go on, we shall be talking about even people in the formal sector and also people who are doing big and medium-sized businesses. Yeah? So, you are still watching. You've been watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And we've been proudly sponsored by St. Daniela Education Services, which is a nursery and boarding primary school in Namayumba. If you want quality education, far away from town interruptions, please look nowhere else apart from St. Daniela Education Services. And their telephone contact is 0392 00 3180. We are also proudly sponsored by Lien's Bakery, that is located at Namasuba, and today actually our viewers, we've been situated at Namasuba where Stella is doing her small business that you're going to see, the grocery shop that she's talking about. It's a small business, but I'm amused at knowing that she's making some profits. So Lian's Bakery is also situated at Namasua, and in case you're interested in making any orders, please call 0754 13 90 99. We are also proudly sponsored by Save and Have Enterprises, and our dear viewers, Save and Have Enterprises is a shop that is situated at Ham Shopping Center on 2nd floor, room F2019, and it has graced us throughout these shows. It has adult clothes, jewelries, accessories, shoes, children's accessories from 0 years to about 14 or 15 years. So in case you need anything to do with children, be it car seats, strollers, clothes, bed sheets, anything. Look nowhere but to Save and Have Enterprises. And lastly, behind these beautiful pictures and content you are seeing for the Sisters Empowerment Show is urban events. If you have any functions and you need to record any videos, please contact 0759 52 01 60. Our dear viewers, thank you very much, and today we shall stop here. Thank you for watching. Your host has been Daisy, and I wish you a nice day. Bye bye.